At Actinium, we deploy our proprietary technology platform to develop targeted radiotherapies directed against cancer patient populations where these patients currently do not have any therapies that work. Our approach is exemplified by our lead product candidates Iomab-B and Actimab-A. Iomab-B phase 3 results have shown that we can take relapsed refractory AML patients who are currently not transplantable and transplant them very efficaciously, and the results have shown improved survival.
Imagine you're 70 years old. You suddenly not feeling well. You go to the doctor. They tell you you have a blood disorder. Your hemoglobin's low, your white count's high, and they fear that you have acute myelogenous leukemia. They do a bone marrow and they confirm the diagnosis. There is unfortunately a high likelihood that you won't respond to initial induction treatment. The only curative option is a bone marrow transplant. Up to now, the outcomes of patients who have active disease at the time of transplant is really, really bad. We now know that there is a potential way of bringing you to a reduced intensity conditioning regimen like fludarabine and low-dose TBI, and that the outcomes are significantly better than conventional treatments.
Phase 3 Sierra trial is a randomized study conducted at 24 centers across the US and Canada. It's first of a kind, targeted radiotherapy, where we deliver large amount of radiation with a precise mechanism to bone marrow, which is the targeted organs, without affecting other vital organs, which is heart, liver, lung, and kidney.
The Sierra trial showed that in a randomized fashion, more than 150 patients were allocated either to get Apamistamab or to get conventional care. The patients who went on to get Apamistamab had a durable complete remission rate, which was the primary endpoint, of 22%. And the ones who were randomized to the conventional care arm had a durable complete remission rate of 0%. And when we compare the overall survival rates, 1-year survival rates for patients who got Apamistamab either as a crossover or as primary therapy, it was more than 30% versus less than 15% for those that got conventional care.
Iomab-B consists of a combination of radioactive iodine-131 tagged to the Apamistamab antibody. Iomab-B is delivered as a personalized dose using gamma camera images from a tracer infusion, showing the uptake and clearance of the radiopharmaceutical throughout the patient's body, so that it is safe and at the same time provides the maximum therapeutic benefit to a given patient.
It is important being able to provide this novel iodine-131 Apamistamab therapy, which is a myeloablative conditioning and induction regimen in patients with AML. Especially, it has shown to have higher or better tolerance in older patients and patients who are highly pretreated. I think this is exemplary as to how radioimmunotargeted therapy can be developed to address a niche clinical need.
We're really not changing the transplant procedure. What we are doing is we are changing the pre-transplant regimen from a intense, high doses of chemotherapy and radiation to an agent like Iomab, which is less toxic and more effective and much better tolerated by these older patients who need this transplant.
The patients are treated in an inpatient setting that, given that this is a transplant setting, is not a limiting factor. And patients can be treated in both lead-lined shielded rooms or non-lead-lined rooms, and in both cases, the exposure levels to the surrounding areas were minimal by our experience.
So what the results from Sierra demonstrate is that Iomab-B may help those 80% of AML patients who traditionally could not go on to get a transplant, to go on to get an allogeneic HSCT, and they may derive long-term clinical benefit in that setting.
It's interesting that across the United States, the number of patients with relapsed refractory acute leukemia that are undergoing transplant is significantly less than the ones we think they should get transplanted. Apamistamab will hopefully change that narrative because it will provide a treatment that has, a 22% chance of durable complete remission.
Actimab-A is our therapeutic product candidate that is being developed again for relapsed refractory AML patients who have failed all available therapies and have a very poor prognosis for survival. And what we've shown in our proof of concept trials is meaningfully improved survival outcomes at 1 and 2 years. We are energized by the prospect of filing the Iomab-B BLA and getting the product into market, as well as moving the Actimab-A product candidate into a pivotal trial. Both of these are important milestones in our mission to meaningfully change the trajectory of survival for relapsed refractory AML patients.